Problem number 1. Two students solve a problem involving a quadratic equation. The first student made an error only in the constant term of the equation and determined the roots were 2 and 8. The second student made an error only in the coefficient of the linear term and determined the roots were -1 and -9. What was the correct quadratic equation? So first thing to know, kailangan nating malaman kung ano ba yung quadratic equation. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is the general form of a quadratic equation. So quadratic equation composes of terms. We have quadratic term for ax squared, linear term for our bx, and constant term for our c. So ano ba yung letter A, letter B, letter C? So where A, B, and C are coefficients of each term. Pag sinabing coefficients, may value yan. Ang value niyan ay any number. So ang kasama ng coefficients, ng mga coefficients sa equation ay tinatawag na variable. Ito yung mga variable x na tulad sa quadratic and linear terms. So paano natin malalaman na kung ang equation na ito ay isang quadratic? So titingnan natin kung ano ba yung pinaka or highest exponent na makikita natin sa buong equation. So ito yun, 2. Ibig sabihin yung quadratic equation may dalawang x or dalawang roots na tinatawag. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo sa problem, yung first student may roots na 2 and 8. Then second student may -1 and -9. So ito yun. A, x for first root, then times x for second root equals x squared. Parang yan lang yung nagiging palatandaan para sa quadratic equation. So simulan natin sa first student. Yung first student, merong roots na 2 and 8. Then for second student, we have -1 and -9. So paano natin or paano tayo makakapag-generate ng quadratic equation kapag meron tayong roots? So first thing to do, we have to transpose the roots to the left side since nasa right side sila. So yung 2, lipat natin dito. 8, lipat natin dito. -1, ilipat natin dito. Then yung -9, ilipat natin dito. So be careful sa pagta-transpose. Ang kailangan nating matandaan sa pagta-transpose ay kailangang i-change yung sign. For example, yung 2, ililipat natin sa left side, magiging -2. Yung 8, ililipat natin, magiging -8. Yung -1, ililipat natin, magiging +1. Then yung -9, ililipat natin, magiging +9. So ganito yung magiging equation sa first student. X minus 2 times x minus 8 equals 0. So bakit 0? Since nilipat na natin yung mga roots sa left side, ano nang matitira sa right side? Wala na. So 0. Ganon din sa second student. X plus 1 times x plus 9 equals 0. So hindi pa yung final form ng quadratic equation. So meron tayong dapat tandaan para makapag-generate tayo ng quadratic equation. So ito yun. Okay, change ko muna sa laser. In solving quadratic equations, always remember the concept of FOIL method. So kailangan natin gamitin yung FOIL method para makapag-generate or makapag-solve tayo ng quadratic equation. So ano ba yung FOIL method? Base sa abbreviation ng FOIL, so letter F, we have first terms. I-apply natin yung multiplication later. So for first terms, we have x and x. For outside terms, we have x and negative 8. For inside or inner, we have negative 2 and x. Then for our last terms, negative 2 and negative 8. Same with second student. Okay, we have F, first terms. We have outside for for outside terms. I for inner terms. And for last terms, okay. So, i-multiply natin ngayon. So, sa first student, okay, for first term of first student, we have x times x. We have x squared. For outside term, x times negative 8. So, wag natin kalilimutan yung mga sign, no? Kailangan natin isama yung sign sa operation. So, we have x times negative 8. We have negative 8x. For inner terms, we have negative 2 times x, negative 2x. And for last terms, we have negative 2 times negative 8 equals positive 16. General rule din sa algebra, kapag minultiply natin ang dalawang negative numbers, ang result nun ay positive number. So, huwag kayong malilito dun ha. Kailangan nyo yung tandaan yun. Ngayon, natapos na natin yung operation, i-combine natin yung like terms or yung magkakaparehas. For our quadratic term, the x squared, wala naman kasama. So, as is na yan. Squared. For our constant term, positive 16, wala rin siyang kasama. So, as is pa din. So, i-combine na lang natin ngayon ay yung mga linear terms. We have negative 8x minus 2x resulting to negative 10x. So, as you can see, ito yung general form ng quadratic equation. So, meron na tayo for first student. Ganon din sa second student. So, for our first term, x times x, we have x squared. For our outside term, x times 9, we have positive 9x. For inner terms, positive 1 times x, we have positive 1x. Then positive 1 times positive 9 rather. For our last terms, we have positive 9. So again, combine like terms, we have x squared for our quadratic. For our constant term, we have positive 9. Then combine our linear terms, which are positive 9 x plus 1x is equal to 10x. So, ito na yung general form ng quadratic equation na na-solve ng second student. So nga pala guys, bago ko makalimutan, itong 1x, pwede nyo ring i-consider as x only. Kasi automatically, meron yan katabing coefficient na 1. Okay, please remember that. So, ayun na, meron na tayong dalawang general forms of quadratic equation for first student and second student. So, balikan natin yung tanong. Ano ba talaga yung tanong? So, what was the correct quadratic equation? Si first student, nagkamali daw sa error only in the constant term. Ano ba yung constant term sa quadratic equation? Yun yung letter C. Sa second student naman, nagkamali daw siya sa coefficient of the linear term. So ano yon sa general form ng quadratic equation? Yun yung letter P. So paano yun? Tingnan natin. Yun. Hindi natin i-include yung constant term ni first student kasi mali yun. Ganon din kay second student. Hindi natin i-include yung linear term or yung coefficient of the linear term ni second student. So kapag kinombine natin, magkakaroon na tayo ng correct quadratic equation. Therefore, the correct quadratic equation should be x squared minus 10x plus 9 equals 0. Kunin natin yung x squared since parehas lang naman silang dalawa. Then negative 10x for our correct linear term. Then positive 9 for our correct constant term. So this is the final answer.